Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's the Cryptid Huntress. I'm Jessica Jones. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I have a fantastic show for us. I have Mr. William Nighthawk here in the studio with us today, and we are going to be speaking on fallen angels today. And I think it couldn't come at a better time after, especially after our show that we had on Monday with my good friend Arkeem Raw and what all's going on in the news right now and around the world. We could definitely use this conversation today. I think we need it. Okay, so thank you guys so much for being here, and we have a wonderful chat going already. Thank you to all my moderators and all my channel members for being here today. You guys are the best, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all. All my Patreon members, all of you, everybody that's here. Thank y'all so much. Like I said, we had a great show on Monday with Arkeem Raw. If you guys have missed that, please go back and watch it. The topic was pale crawlers and the epidemic that we have of pale crawlers. However, we got into history being AI generated, potentially, and also we talked with Arkeem about his experiences in the secret space programs with the cloning and in the island stuff, if you know what I mean. And it was a very impactful and powerful show on Monday. So please go back and check that out if you missed it, y'all. Okay. But of course, today we do have William Nighthawk here. I cannot wait to bring him up. And we have lots to ponder today. My brain kind of hurts, y'all. My brain's hurting. It's almost like my paradigm has shifted again. And I feel like a lot of the world, like we've really had a huge disclosure dump this past week, over the past few days, couple of days, and it's a lot to process, and it's a lot for me to process, y'all. So I know it's a lot for y'all as well if you're paying attention to the news and paying attention to what's going on right now. So if you guys would like to check out my other shows and an archive of all of my shows and whatnot, please go over to my website. That's thecryptidhuntress.com. Of course, you can also find all of my shows on my YouTube channel. I have my shows posted to Rumble and all the podcasting platforms as well. And you can follow me on X and Instagram and whatever else is out there. I forgot. Whatever social media platforms are out there, y'all can find me. And of course, I do have a Patreon if you guys would like to support my work. And I have a shop too. It's called War Woman Goods. So thank you guys so much for all your support. Man, y'all are awesome. Okay. All right. Well, let's get to our show, y'all. Okay. On this episode of A Glitch in the Matrix, this is a glitch in the Matrix. We are the glitch in the Matrix. William Nighthawk is joining us to discuss the fallen angels of the Bible and their possible connections to today's celebrities and public figures. What's up with all these doppelgangers? We have gone over several celebrity doppelgangers over the past couple of years. And some modern day celebrities do look a lot like these historical figures. But after that conversation about AI generating our history, maybe potentially, now I'm wondering, I thought they were fallen angels, and they might be. I thought they were vampires, and they might be. I don't know what's going on. They could be clones. But we're going to talk to William about that today. And we do have some good theories to discuss for you guys. It appears this has been going on for decades. And so we're going to be talking about these recycled celebrities, clones, artificial humans, the connection to the fallen angels. And like I said, we have William Nighthawk here today. And let's see, William Nighthawk is an ordained minister for Native American Indian and Metis people. He is a military veteran and a 32nd degree Scottish Rite Freemason with over 35 years of paranormal encounters and investigation experience. William grew up with a dark black witch for a parent in a haunted house with a highly active paranormal property. He's a survivor of 2 near-death experiences, which made his connection to the paranormal even stronger. From ghosts and UFOs and cryptid creatures to aliens, he has been through it all, and I have definitely consulted with William on numerous occasions before I do some of my cryptid field research, and I am honored to have him here today joining us to speak on the fallen angels. You guys can find him over on his YouTube channel. It is Nighthawk High Strangeness Podcast. So please help me welcome to the show, Mr. William Nighthawk.
Thank you, Jessica. Hello, everybody.
Hey, William. Thank you so much for being here today. It's great to see you.
Oh, it's good to be here. It's good to be here. As long as I got strength and can talk, I'm good to go, guys. I wanted to put out there to begin with too that some of the subject matter that we're talking about today is going to be pretty sensitive. I don't like to offend anybody, so if I do, don't take it the wrong way. But a lot of the stuff that I'm getting is almost like being downloaded, and just being completely awake. I mean, I've had a lot of weird, strange things happening to me these last several weeks. And well, since our last show, actually, together, Jessica, I have been delving deep into angelic script, ancient writings. I mean, so deep into it that I haven't had anything. I probably sleep maybe 2 nights a week, but it is what it is. But some of the information I have that I've uncovered is pretty mind blowing. And I think when we look at the whole, outline of everything in our world, like I've always said, you got to question everything, and everything is connected, and look for the patterns. Those are my 3 main things I tell everybody. And I've got about 3 questions for the chat. I want them to think about these questions. So we're going to give them their homework. Okay.
Perfect.
And we'll go from there. So.
Okay, that's perfect. William, I've been not getting as much sleep lately too. And I've been staying up, I guess, not only just researching and getting my topics together for all these shows and getting the information together, but I'm having I'm not going to say a difficult time, but it's just, I'm just taking the time to really process all the stuff that I'm getting. I'm also getting downloads, and and the connections that we're making at this point, it's kind of, the paradigm has kind of shifted a little bit, and it's stuff that, like, we've known. I've been hearing about these things for at least 10 years. A lot of this stuff I've been following Alex Jones and stuff, I was following him a long time ago, and I remember hearing about these things. So I was kind of, it's been a slow drip for me, kind of, you know what I mean? And so now it's finally all come out, and us conspiracy theorists were right. Okay. Yeah. All along. And so, and now it's like, now it's time to, like, really take it in and then see how these dots, now that we've got the proof pretty much, it's like connecting these dots. And that even includes with these fallen angels potentially, or even the recycled celebrities and stuff. I mean, the rabbit hole is so deep, William, that
yes,
we have to take it in doses, right?
Yes, you're absolutely right. The rabbit hole is deep and it is dark. It's well, it's like I sent you the message the other day about the word fallen. You remove the F and you change the second L to an I, and you have the word alien. Yeah. That's just one of the incidental things that you can see throughout this world that we live in. And when it comes to patterns, you have to really, learning patterns is a gradual thing. You don't learn it overnight. So it's not like you're going to wake up one morning and say, oh, this is a pattern, that's a pattern. No, that's not how it works. When you actually immerse yourself within that, it's going to open up other avenues of things that you see as far as color patterns, musical note patterns, number patterns, letter patterns, names, cryptid information patterns. I mean, it's phenomenal how much you actually open yourself up to. That's why I've gotten into angelic script these last several weeks. And what I'm finding out is several other people, especially paranormal investigators, are coming across when they do Estes sessions and they have the visual hooked up to their phone, and it's supposed to prop up pictures. Some of these sessions are coming up with angelic script on them, and I actually deciphered a couple of them, and I've got these young men that I watch periodically, and I try to give them as much advice as possible. But I sent them a message if they want to know what their angelic script read, because they were dealing with the same thing that that a lot of people are dealing with, and that is the shadow figures and the shapeshifters and stuff like that are out there. And these things do exist. Okay, these things have been around a lot longer than humanity has, to tell you the truth. I'm a firm believer that the shadow realm is literally just that thin veil between this world and the first heaven. Okay, I really do. And there's 7 levels to heaven apparently, and I think that shadow realm is in between each one, which is like a barrier that we have to punch our way through. Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's there's I don't know if more people are just able to see this now. Like, sometimes they say that your brain can only see, like, it can only process what it knows already. And maybe that's why some people see orbs and UFOs when others don't, because their brain can't wrap around it. Like they can't process it somehow. And I'm wondering if that's like I've had an incident where me and my son were seeing orbs in the house, and his dad was not seeing the orbs at all, except for through his phone. And I know it's a frequency thing, of course, but at this point, it just feels like the frequency has changed to like where we're all seeing it now.
Yep.
Okay.
And you have to wonder, does CERN have something to do with that? I know we all bring CERN up in the topic and stuff, and we all talk about the weather manipulation and stuff through HARP and all these other agencies around the world. But it goes even deeper than those. How many of you have ever thought, I mean, getting back to the AI thing, okay, look at some of the 3-letter agencies that we have around us, okay? You have a 4-letter agency named NASA. If you look at their logo, it spells out Satan, okay? Also, if you look at the words CIA, you reverse it, you have artificial intelligence control, okay? There is so many patterns out there that it's like if you look at it through a mirror, and that's a whole nother subject, by the way, mirrors. I'll touch a little bit about that today too. It's almost like they put it in front of us, but they don't want us to be able to decipher it. And I think that the creator, whether you want to call him God, whether you want to call him the creator, Jesus Christ, I don't care what you want to call him, whatever you want to call the creator, the one that made this world and everything that's in it, and everything that's in it spiritually too, should bow his knees to. The whole makeup of this world is frequency. Okay. Frequency and vibration. Okay. And that's basically the whole supernatural makeup. That's your energies that you see, your chi, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Your aura, everything around us is energy. Okay. When angels descended from the heavens to humanity, they came in a bright glowing light. That's called frequency. Okay. That's the frequency that they put off. It's a clear purity. Okay. And that comes from source, okay, which is the creator. So that being said, look at this world with a very open mind and don't look at it logically. Okay. Logic has nothing to do with this world because logic for humanity is based off of human science. Human science has been proven time and time again, even through history, to be wrong. So
It's
basically,
upside down. It's all
yeah,
backwards. Everything I was telling my son yesterday, everything that we have been told is right and good is actually what's wrong and not
exactly. And you
good.
just said it right there, Jessica. You said it's all backwards.
It's backwards. It's
Think about
upside
the
down
mirror.
world.
Think about the mirror thing. You know,
Mhm.
that's my point. Whenever you're looking for this stuff and you want to know what's going on, you literally have to be able to teach yourself to interpret it, okay, and discern what's going on, okay,
Even
and
the food pyramid is upside down. Okay.
exactly,
This is for
exactly.
entertainment purposes only, but
Yeah, this
The
this is
Simpsons
and
knew that.
this is strictly from my research and my opinions and my thoughts on everything. I am not a scientist. I'm just an old Native American guy that's done some things in his life that have been related to the darkness, and now I'm turning back to the light, and I've been doing that for a long time in my life right now. And I a lot of the research. Well, I'm gonna ask the chat. I want to ask the chat a couple questions here, if I can.
Okay.
First,
Yes.
um, just questions that I have for you all to think about while we're talking about this subject, and you might even want to write it down. I mean, I don't know. Have you ever asked yourself why did they removed all the old cast metal, iron, and bronze bells from the churches? Okay, that's the first question. Okay. The second question is, have you ever realized that the old mirrors and the new mirrors are different? Okay. They removed the silver precious metal backings from the original mirrors. Okay. We no longer have that silver that's actual real silver behind the mirrors
Mhm.
anymore. Okay. That's
Wow.
the second thing. Okay. And we
Okay.
all know mirrors can be portals.
Yes.
Here's the biggie. Okay. When you think about how a home is designed, something as simple as maybe even just a cabin in the woods, okay? When you design your bathroom, where's that mirror at?
In the bathroom, it's
Yeah,
above your sink, the running water right there.
above the running water.
The water, right.
Where does the supernatural and the paranormal activity get their energy from?
Through
Running
water.
water. So that
Mhm.
mirror is an automatic portal connection to that water flow every time you use that water flow, which gives the supernatural realm and what I call the shadow realm the abilities to observe you while you're at that sink. And
Brushing
here's
your
the
teeth.
other thing. Yeah, here's the other thing too. If you look at that mirror, if you sit off to the say your bathtub's off to the side, sit on the edge of the bathtub and just look at that mirror through your peripheral vision. Okay. Turn the water on, okay, and just watch it for a little bit, maybe a couple minutes to go by, and you'll start to see things floating out of that mirror with your peripheral vision. If you look at it straight on with your eyesight, you're not going to see it. Okay. That's the way the human body is designed. You're not supposed to see things straight on. We're
Whoa.
supposed to be able to discern what's happening in our world. Okay. That's
Whoa.
simple.
Oh my gosh. Well, some people see Bloody Mary when they look in their mirror.
And,
That was a
and,
thing when we were kids. I don't remember ever doing it personally, but,
and here's the thing
portals.
though, if you think about a lot of the haunted locations and stuff out there, and we're going to get into the fallen here in a second, and I'll explain about how that's connected. Um, when you go, a lot of people report seeing images in mirrors, and that is a device that has been used a very long time to bring forth supernatural into this realm, okay, into this world.
Mhm.
And mirrors, water, um, submerging yourself in water, especially cold water, is a shock portal, is what we call it. Okay, where you can actually you get so close to drowning and having a near death experience that you can see things like scrying. Okay, and it's all connected. Everything is connected to the supernatural. Okay, this world with the frequency and the vibration that's on it is really something when you study it. So,
Mhm.
that was the three questions I had.
I have some, I mean, I have my thoughts on all of those personally. Of course, we want to see what the audience has to say as well today. But the metals, I was actually just, I am a jewelry connoisseur. I love jewelry, vintage, antique jewelry. That's my thing. And I was reading something on the conductivity of these metals and what they mean, and how people throughout history have always worn copper. Copper is like it's like the Mac Daddy metal that everybody should be wearing.
Used to
And
drink water. Used to drink water out of copper cups.
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, just wearing it allows the energy to flow through you. I mean, you become just energetic. Okay. Now silver and gold will not only heal you. Okay. Now we are not medical professionals. This is, for entertainment purposes only. But they say that it's got healing properties to it. And also they say that silver will keep things away from you and gold will bring things to you. Okay.
Exactly.
So energetically, like, think of abundance, y'all. Okay.
Well,
Think of
about the mirror
negative
too,
energies.
Think about the mirror. That's why we put silver on the back of the mirrors, to keep that doorway closed.
Oh, wow.
And they removed that ability for us to have the normal mirror and not have things come through it that could attach themselves to us or our place where we live. And as soon as they removed that silver from the back of the mirrors, that opened up so much energy into this realm that it's like constantly having a faucet on in the bathroom sink with the sink plunger down. That water is going to eventually overflow, and what we have now is that overflow.
Oh, William. Well, and of course, I'm not going to say, well, dare I say, military and governments have been aware of that for a long time. And when I bring people on my shows that claim to have had time in the secret space programs, they do talk about mirrors being portals. We had that conversation on Monday, and how they're actually utilized by agencies to be portals, even in hotel rooms where they're taking people and stuff, like I said, for entertainment purposes only. But when they're doing them as far as kidnappings and things go, or just taking people out of their rooms at night.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And it goes even beyond that. The connection to the fallen angels is a very, I mean, a lot of people, they think that that part of the Bible is fictional, and that's fine. I'm not here to convert anybody into any religion whatsoever, because to me, my faith is not a religion. My faith is a one-on-one that I have with the Creator. Okay, with God that created everything, the mountains, the pinyon pine that has our DNA, everything, the rivers that flow, the ground we walk on. That's His cathedral. Okay, so I don't have to feel like I have to join a religion or a church in order to be with my Creator, with my God. Okay, because He made the best church in the world, and that's the world that He created. Okay, but
Amen.
as soon as humanity gave up that stewardship of the land and the animals upon the land, we kind of turned it over to the supernatural realm and to the fallen angels. Okay, and that's proven in a lot of places around the world. When you talk about the fallen, you're talking about, there's a third of the angels that came down, okay, with Lucifer, okay, the light bearer. In, I believe it was, when was it? I don't have the date in front of me, but there was something that happened in the Northwest area of the United States several years ago, back, I think it was like 1930s, may even be earlier than that, where basically the sun came up from the west instead of the east.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was described as a brilliant, bright light that made it as bright as day. And there was some kind of an impact. And they say that, that was because Lucifer rose for the short season. Okay.
Mhm.
And to us, we know that the short season, when they talk about seasons in the Bible, I mean, we are literally just speculating and trying to guess and discern what time length they were talking about. Was it an actual year? And you think back to the original calendar, it had 13 months, not 12.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a deception right there. Then it had 28 days each month, which is another deception. It was literally set up to the moon cycle and to the feminine cycle of the world, if you think about it.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, that's right.
And, you know, and the tides would flow a lot easier, and a lot stronger. So, deception is a big part of what's going on right now. And when we talk about the fallen, we got to talk about not everything is not everything as far as the word fallen is described as falling from heaven. Yes, the original one was that they fell from heaven to earth. Okay. They were banished. Okay. And that's why we have certain craters around the world. We have certain locations that are named El Diablo Canyon or Devil's Gate, or the Devil's Tower. We have all these locations around the world that have these nefarious, deep, dark, energetic names in them, because those are one of the things that I believe with Devil's Tower and several other places like that is that after the flood, before the flood, actually, that the Creator did to get rid of the Nephilim, the giants, and the bad part of humanity. It says that He sent down angels to cut down the towering trees. Okay, and I believe full-heartedly that that's what we're looking at here is a petrified tree stump. Okay, I believe that the reason He cut down these trees was to stop the Tower of Babel. Okay, at the same time, we have that same thing continuing today. Okay. And you have to ask yourself why two certain individuals hooked up in this presidential year to basically carry on that Tower of Babel. Okay. One of them is Elon Musk. Okay. Which we all know how I feel about that man. Okay. And his name and what the name translates to. And also, a certain president we have right now. And I'm not saying that this president is a bad president. Please don't mistake my words. Okay. But what I am saying is that sometimes good men get changed. Okay. And there's nothing we can do about it because it's the way it's meant to be. These things are set in motion a long time ago. Okay. And written in script. It's like I talked about the one lesser angel, the script angel, that fell from heaven with Lucifer, but was allowed to come back in. Namael. Okay, Namael is why we have to sign our signature and our name on the line that says name. Okay, it's the same thing. We're scrying our name to a contract or to a deed or to something, or to a letter. We're putting ourselves on that line. Okay. And when you sign on the line, the reason you're signing on that line at the word name and signature is because that scribed angel, that angel was allowed to return to heaven. Okay. But he was only allowed to return to heaven because he was allowed to be on the outskirts of heaven, that boundary where heaven is getting closer to earth, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. He's on the lowest level of heaven, okay, which is that line that we sign our name to. Okay, so there's that. Okay, there's so much more. I mean, there's so much more than just that. But when you're dealing with like, well, take Tyler Hansen, for example,
Yes,
the guy's incredible. And he knows that in my eyes, he's probably about 97 to 98% correct in everything that he's depicting right now. Okay.
And let me, before you go on, let's explain to the audience. That's the guy who I'm
We're
always showing you
freezing up.
guys the side by sides. Oops. Can you guys
Yeah,
hear me?
Yeah,
Am I
we
frozen?
just froze up. See, I knew that was going to happen.
Okay.
And that's another thing, guys. That's another thing, guys. When we talk about this subject, especially Jessica and I, they will shut us
Yes.
down. I was actually supposed to
Yeah.
be on SNX radio podcast last like 2 weeks ago to discuss this,
Mhm.
and she lost all of her equipment. She
Oh,
couldn't
yeah.
do it. She couldn't do the
Oh,
show at all.
you know
So,
what, William? I had to buy a whole new computer last week, and I still can't use it because the audio won't sync up with it. Okay, because my
that's
other computer broke. It's just we're getting into these topics. I'm bringing I mean, I'm kind of pushing the boundaries with these shows right now. Okay,
exactly.
and so that's what happens. But we're gonna make it work. I think we're up.
Yeah.
We're synced back up, hopefully. But Tyler Hansen is the fittest flat earther. I do have some of his side by side pictures to show y'all today. But when I was talking about like Kobe Bryant being that football player of the Cleveland
Mhm.
Browns, you know, I still stand by that. I don't care. Barry laughed at it, and that's fine, Barry. Okay, it's funny. It is kind of funny, but it's also kind of not. Okay, because
Right.
we have been deceived on such a grand scale, in my opinion, William.
Right.
Wouldn't you think?
Exactly. Exactly. And when
Mhm,
you think about all the missing people and about all the abductions out there, what's the one thing
mhm.
they have in common? Alien. Okay.
Oh,
They seem to just walk through a portal or seem to just vanish, and the dogs
that's
lose
right.
their scents and stuff. It's like they just disappeared. Well, the only way you can actually describe what's happening to these people is what my people did back in the old days before the white man came here, and that is literally, you have to describe it as something supernaturally happening. Okay, something magical happened and took them. Okay, that's why we have these old legends. Okay, that's why we have legends of Kuliskoff and Otter and Big Brother and all these other things and Spearfinger and all that.
Mhm.
It all plays into the role. When we talk about these things, we're talking about something supernatural in power. Okay, and what's more supernatural than the Creator and angels? Okay, because when you're dealing with angels and the divine realm and the angelic realm, you're also dealing with the demonic. Okay, and the
Mhm.
demonic is represented around the entire world in every culture. Okay, you have the naga, you have the jinn, you have all different types of them. Okay, you have legends in Peru and Argentina where they come down, the angels come down from they come down as constellations, and they change themselves into giants and stand amongst them, and if they ask the people to give them something, if they don't give them something, something bad happens to the people. Okay, those are fallen angels. Okay,
Oh,
those are the ones that are called the throne of God. Okay, they're the angels that protect the throne of God. Okay, and when they come down, you got to remember, the supernatural, the angelic, and demons, they can take any form they want. That's why in the old days, before the white man came here, we called them tricksters. Okay, that's the connection. Okay, when you have something that is not flesh and blood, but can make themselves feel flesh and blood, when you touch them, they can feel solid. That's the powerful angelic medicine and spiritual medicine that I'm talking about. Okay, that's the energies that I'm talking about. They can do, and they can make humanity do and think things and perceive things however they want to, especially if they're the fallen ones. Kent, that's awesome, brother.
thank you, Kent Baxter, for that super sticker. We appreciate you. Said,
Yeah.
hi, Jessica. I love William's perspectives. This is the stuff I've been researching.
Yeah.
Us too.
Kent's a brother of mine. He's a good man. I had the pleasure of meeting him in person several times, and
No
he's a good
way.
man.
You got to meet Kent. I'm
Yep.
jealous.
Yep.
Thank you for being here, Kent.
And
Yeah.
but yeah, there's so much to it that, I mean, it's like we said last time on the podcast too, Jessica. There's not enough time to discuss all this. when we're talking angelic script and discerning patterns, we're talking about stuff like this. Okay.
Here, let me make your picture bigger, William. Hold on one second. I'm going to make your picture.
Okay,
The
this
side
is
of the screen. There
angelic
you go.
script. It's gonna be a little backwards,
Wow.
but this is angelic script. Okay, that's
Okay.
exactly what it is. Okay,
Very
and
cool.
this is the symbol of God. Okay,
Okay.
I'm not sure if this is coming up backwards or not, but there's several different symbols of God. The one that has the heart on it over here is a representation of children, his children. Okay, God's children, the Creator's children. Okay.
Okay.
If you notice, there's a lot of them in there that have a lot of like the crosses and stuff on them. Okay, they look like a cross or a bow and an arrow. Okay, protection symbols of the Norse is what
like
that
runes.
is. Exactly, exactly. Angelic script. There's several different forms of angelic script. I believe that there is 7 different forms of angelic script, and I've only got about maybe 5 of them so far. But yeah, there's several different forms of them, and some of the ones that I have just deciphered. When those young men did the paranormal investigation, where they did the Estes session, and they asked questions how they could safely leave where they were staying, and they were staying in a cabin in Kentucky in one of the dark hollers that I talked about.
Oh yeah,
shadow people and all that, and about skinwalkers that are down there and stuff. And Skinwalker Lake is near there. You know, the stone that I told you I did ceremonies on, that's the holler that they were in. Okay. And I'm not going to divulge your name. You guys will have to check this to find out. But this is something that they received. Okay, on their, this is angelic script. Okay. And I decipher this. This right here, these two combined, okay, this represents a T and this is he. Okay. So this represents the. And when they asked the question, okay, about how they could safely leave without being attacked or harmed in any way, it came back. It showed a picture of this on their Estes session on the visual of this script, and this script literally says the Christ.
Wow.
That's literally what it translates to, is the Christ.
Wow.
So,
it's incredible.
We can say what we want about religion, but it's like I've always said, from day one, I've been a firm believer and a follower of Christ and his teachings and the Creator. And what we need to understand is the most powerful thing we can do in this realm, in this life, is live it in an unconditional love pattern. Okay. And trust me when I say this, I came from a very, very dark place. Okay. I came from a place that they said they loved you. They said they cared about you. They said that they would protect you, and things didn't happen that way. Okay. I got sucked in after a near-death experience about 3.5 years old, and I was literally beaten unconscious by 2 teenagers, because my father was Native American and he was a part-time police officer. Okay. And they hated him for that. So they decided to kick the shit out of excuse my language, out of a 3.5-year-old child that was chestnut picking with his sister. Okay. And my sister was probably 5 or 6 years old at the time. So she was a couple years older than me. And if it wasn't for her, I probably would have laid there and died. But she actually ran and got my mother to come down, and my mother got me back. But
oh my gosh, that's horrible, William.
While I was in that darkness, and the voice that I heard was a soft, soothing voice of my grandmother. And Give me a second. Sorry, I'm not getting choked up, guys. I'm having a hard. I got an air pocket right now. I had my esophagus removed for the cancer. You know that. So I
Mhm.
get these air. That's why I drink coffee all the time. So be patient
Take your
with me.
time. Take your time. While you're doing that, do you need to take a little break?
Uh,
We can.
yeah, that's fine. If we can take about a minute, that'd be fine.
Yeah, let's take a minute. I'm going to thank Maureen. We have a super sticker, okay,
Okay.
and so let me pull this up. Thank you, Maureen. And also Bryce Ed, what's up, Bryce? Bryce Edwards in the chat. He has a question for you. We'll ask him. We'll ask this question right after I thank Maureen and Gus here. Maureen and Gus, thank you so much. Excellent show today. Much love, Gus and Maureen. Thank you, Maureen and Gus. Y'all are the best. I appreciate y'all.
I love Gus. Gus is
He's the
awesome.
cutest, isn't he?
Maureen's awesome too, but Gus is
Golly.
phenomenal. Ask Maureen; she'll tell you. I always reply to when I see Gus how much I love him. He
I
reminds me
love
so
his
much of our
outfits.
little Jacob, but our little Jacob looks more Pomeranian than he does
Uh-huh.
pug, but he is half pug. So
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, Maureen. Um, well, we'll finish your story, William. But of course, we do have Bryce has a question for you after we hear about your grandmother and
okay.
what your grandmother's voice said.
Um, Basically, she said to me, and I knew it was my grandmother because I knew her voice. See, I was the kind of child that the grandmother grew up in the house. Okay, we all kind of lived together, and I used to sit at the kitchen table at night with her. And the big thing that we had, I don't know if anybody remembers those Archway cookies back in the day, back in the 60s and the 70s with the frosting on them. And they had the orange frosting ones, the orange cookies. Well, I was the one that would sit there at night waiting for my grandma to come out at the kitchen table, and she would pour me a cup of orange pop, and we would each have an Archway cookie. And we would sit there and just
Oh,
spend time together every night. And we did that every night like clockwork. Well, there came a time in my life where my grandmother was taken to a nursing home. Okay. And she was taken to this nursing home, and it was called, I don't even want to divulge the name, but it was very close to where we lived, within a couple miles of where we lived. And what I was told by my father was that she had somehow declined in mental capacity, like Alzheimer's, and she had wandered out of the facility and climbed the water tower at the facility and fell to her death.
my
And
gosh.
that's how I lost my grandmother. So I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to her. Okay, but she always promised me at the kitchen table, and I remember this. And she promised me when I was out cold with my near death experience, that she would always be there for me and always look out for me. But it wasn't my time yet, that I had much more to do with this world. Okay. And so I basically came back. I remember I woke up as my mother was carrying me up to the house, and she had her apron over my nose and my eye because they were bloody. And that's a very tragic thing for a child to go through. But at that same time, my mother was embraced with so much anger and so much hatred for for those people that did that to me. Okay. And for the fact that she had lost the only grandmother that I ever knew, which affected me, that she immersed me into the dark arts. Okay. She literally brought me into the world of the skinwalkers, the wendigos, the elementals out there that could be used to, um, I mean, and you name it, we did it. Okay. She
Mhm.
taught me everything. She taught me candle magic. She taught me word magic, music magic. She taught me silence magic, which, believe it or not, silence magic and imagery is the strongest magic there is.
Wow.
Believe it or not. Okay. So, because what we speak with our mouth and our tongue becomes so, but what we speak with our spirit and our soul comes a lot stronger, because we're not
Mhm.
verbalizing it. Okay. We're putting it out there in the frequency. through our energy instead of our mouth. So
Wow.
that's a very, very powerful magic. And I was taught all that. And I was taught how to make dough voodoo dolls, and how to take people's pieces of their hair without them knowing, or a piece of their clothing or something, and utilize that part of them that I had into the dolls and make, things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she made a dough doll of the neighbor across the street, who was my only friend at the time. Over time, I think I was like 9 years old or something like that, and she had made a dough doll for him. Told him to get a lock of his brother's hair because his older brother was bullying him really bad. He was literally beating him up every night, and she said, "Give me a lock of his hair, and he'll never do it again." So he got a lock of his hair that night. Okay. And he gave it to
Right.
my mom the next day. And we sat there in the kitchen and watched her make a dough voodoo doll from scratch. Okay.
Wow.
We put that hair on it, and she said this incantation over it. And she put that doll in the garbage can outside of the back door, and put the lid on the can, and said, "I'm going to keep it in there for 30 days and watch what happens for 30 days. And he came back the next day, and he said, "My God," he goes, "my older brother stunk. He stunk like a dead wet animal."
Oh
And
my gosh.
it went on. He said he took tomato juice baths. He used cologne and all kinds of stuff to try and mask the scent. He could not get that stink off of him for the entire
Wow.
30 days that my mother left that doll in that can. Okay. And the moment she pulled that doll out of that garbage can, the stink went away.
Wow.
Okay.
So you saw that firsthand,
That's
experienced that.
that's the kind of childhood that I had.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I had the kind of childhood, after that near death experience, that I was immersed into the darkest witchcraft you could ever imagine.
Wow.
And we're talking soul taking witchcraft. We're talking, I was able to literally, I remember being in sixth and seventh grade in school, and literally when somebody would be called up to the chalkboard, yeah, in them days we had chalkboards, people. We
Yeah.
didn't have computers.
I had a
Um,
chalkboard. We had
yeah,
chalkboards too.
but anyways, we somebody would get up there and say it was somebody I didn't like, or that made fun of me, for being
Mm-hmm.
Indian.
Uh-huh.
Um, in those days it happened a lot. There was a lot of prejudice around.
Mm-hmm.
But I would put a thought in their head of a certain number or a certain answer, and they would literally write down what that answer was,
Wow.
word for word or number for number. But I would always put the wrong one in their thought process from where I was sitting. And all it took was for me to look at the back of their head. That's all it took. And I would make that connection.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, whether you want to call it ESP, or whatever you want to call it, mind link, I don't care what you call
Yeah.
it, but
Yeah.
it's magic. It's dark magic. Okay. I had that ability at a very young age. Okay. And that's just some of the stuff that I learned. And going from that dark place into where I am currently, and going through everything that I went through, up to and including my last near death experience, where I was on the operating table for 9.5 hours, and my heart stopped, and they literally had to massage my heart to start beating again.
Oh my
um
goodness.
because of the cancers. um th- I look at the cancers that I have as it's my punishment, my cross to bear for what I did. Okay. And how do I want to say this? Again, I don't want to offend anybody, okay? Because your beliefs are your beliefs, okay? I can only tell you from my standpoint of growing up and what I went through. That now that I am where I am today, it's like Jessica said earlier, it's constant downloads, okay? And you can say what you want about, about, oh, it's all made up, AIs, not in charge and all this. And I believe that AI is possibly the Antichrist. That's just,
Could be.
I think that AI, and I've talked about this previously in my own podcast, there has been an ancient AI that has been here for a very long time. Okay.
Hmm.
And the thing of it is, when you deal with an ancient AI, you're dealing with an ancient race. And that race is not human, folks.
That's right. That's right. We've actually just talked about that on Monday. We were talking about the ancient AI. I mean, potentially in Greenland, in Antarctica. We're talking about the one in Antarctica. There's some kind of ancient AI. Why are we not allowed to go to Antarctica?
Yeah.
Right. What are they hiding, William?
Exactly. Has anybody ever checked out a place on YouTube called I Pet Goats?
No. Oh gosh. What is
Check
that?
that video out. It's a video, okay, and it's called I Pet Goat, okay, or goats,
I pet
and
goats.
it'll come up, and it's an anonymous site, okay. They don't disclose who it is, but it's a short video, probably 3 or 5 minutes long, and it depicts the Antichrist coming from a frozen, cold wasteland, okay,
Oh,
and it literally shows a resemblance of Jesus on a boat, and it's you have to watch it, you have to see it for yourself, okay. But I have always told everybody that in my research that the reason we can't go to the South Pole and to even the North Pole, okay, think about what Admiral Byrd said when he flew into the North Pole, okay. It was a whole nother world, okay. Dinosaurs were there, these beings were there, these tall Nordic
giants.
described beings were there. um I believe that it's all connected, okay. I
Mm-hmm.
believe that our world, when you get into the whole biblical aspect of our world, and you get into the flat earth theories and stuff, and I'm not saying that the earth is a flat like a coin, okay, it's not a coin. But I do believe that we have been deceived about it being a globe.
Mm-hmm.
One of the perfect examples is, why do we need a cell phone tower every 3 to 6 to 7 miles to make a phone call today, when back in 1969 the president of the United States was able to call the moon?
Yeah.
I mean, come on,
Yeah. On a
that's,
rotary dial phone, right?
yeah, on a rotary dial phone, exactly.
It doesn't make sense.
It
None of it
doesn't. It
does.
doesn't. These are all lies that we have been told. And if you can't see it for yourself, you're never going to see it.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Ever. I hate to
Well,
say it
William,
that way.
before we started the show today, I was mentioning, I said, well, we've all been under a spell. The entire world has been under a spell. And whoever put the spell on the world did a really good job. They
Yep.
did a really good job because we've all been under it for a long time.
Yep.
Yeah. I think
I mean,
we're
when
still under
you
it, but
think,
we're waking up.
yeah, when you think about it, even the McDonald's corporation, and I know everybody thinks the McDonald's is great and stuff, but
Not everybody.
when you look at the sign,
We'll come
okay, you
back up
take the
closer.
McDonald's sign, okay, take
Here, let
that
me make your screen
McDonald's
bigger.
sign.
Isn't that some kind of demonic emblem or something?
Yeah, it represents
M.
333.
Okay.
Okay. You turn the M sideways, you got a number 3. Okay. You
Okay.
turn the big M sideways on the name, it's a number 3. And then the letter C is the third letter of the alphabet, equals 333. Okay. Then you take the rest of the number or the letters on the name McDonald's, and it comes out to equaling 33. Okay. This is the numbers you come up with. Here's the first 3. Okay. Here's an area code, 415. Type in
Mm-hmm.
415 area code and see what it comes up as. It'll come up as San Francisco. Okay.
Okay.
On April 30th of 1966, by Anton LaVey, was established the first place known of the Black House of Satan. It was located at 6114 California Street in the Richmond district of San Francisco. So you take and go past that area code there, 415, and you have 4 plus 1 plus 1 is 6, 2, 4, 1, 9, and it equals 33. But when you add these up, it adds up to 2 plus 4 is 6, 1, 1, 4. What's the address of the Church of Satan? Original place was 6114 California Street.
Whoa,
Okay.
that's gematria.
So it's, there's so much to it. I'm a firm believer that even Operation Fishbowl, I mean, you've talked about that before. That's just a continued part of the Tower of Babel. They're constantly trying to break that glass ceiling, like Hillary Clinton said all those years ago. She's going to break that glass ceiling. Well, why would she want to break that glass ceiling unless she was working with the devil?
Oh yeah, that's interesting because I used to be the head of a women's organization for the government, for the state, and that was one of our things. It's breaking through that glass ceiling, because I guess because first of all, we're living in I'm going to say a glass house, but but living in that box, and women are being suppressed and oppressed, and we're not making as much money as the men, all that kind of stuff, and
Exactly.
And so it's breaking through that box to get equal rights for women. That's the way it was promoted, William. Okay,
Yeah.
that's how it was promoted. That doesn't mean that didn't have double meaning. It probably had
Exactly.
quadruple meaning, right? It always does.
Exactly. Where's
They
Santa
always
Claus
do.
live?
North Pole.
Okay, and
Used
what's
to.
the other spelling for Santa Claus?
Satan Claus? I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
It's an
Satan.
anagram, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's Satan. Okay,
Mhm.
just like NASA. Okay, same thing. It's you can spell Satan from NASA also, from the insignia that they have. I don't know if you have that, you can pop up, but it actually, the red one makes the T for Satan. Everybody takes it and thinks that it's a snake's tongue, a serpent's tongue, but it also represents the letter T for NASA. So you take Satan, Satan. So NASA and Satan and the Tower of Babel, it never ended. Never ended. And then you have to go back in history to basically figure out who the fallen are now, because they're constantly changing themselves. Okay. And those fallen angels have basically, how do I want to say this? I want to say this to where I won't. Yeah. See that the first one there, you can take a look at that and you'll see the red actually is shaped like the old style T, and it's Satan, Satan. Okay. So, Santa's the same thing. We get some help from food pantries and stuff too, because of my income. And just recently we started getting this flour in, and I got to laugh about this because this is almost comical. Okay. But I posted it on Facebook too, a picture of it, and it literally says Santa on it.
Santa.
Okay? Yeah, it's Santa. So obviously it's some kind of but it's called Santa, and then the name below it in small letters is Sophia.
Oh.
Okay. Anybody that knows and studies religion knows where I'm going with this.
Mm-hmm.
Santa, Satan. Okay.
Okay.
Not Satin. It's Satan. Okay. It's Santa. Okay. Santa. And below it said in smaller blue letters the word Sophia. Well, in the Gnostic belief, Sophia gave birth to the demiurge, who brought forth the archon, okay, who are the deceivers of this world. Okay. And apparently from that belief and that faith, that the demiurge is the false god of this world. Well, you can call the demiurge what you want. You can call him Satan. You can call him the devil. It's all the same thing. Okay. But they base this religious belief of Catholicism, of Buddhism, of Hinduism, of Shaolin monks' beliefs and stuff. They base it to separate people. When the whole purpose of Jesus Christ, when he came to this earth and he came to the people and his children, was to pull everybody together. Mainstream religions have pulled everybody apart, and I'm not saying any one faith is wrong. I'm saying if you look at the overall perspective of things, you can correlate that it's just called different things. You can call the devil the demiurge. You can call the devil Satan. You can call the devil Lucifer. You can call the devil Saturn. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, the main thing is, I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to see if I can get my camera to go up here.
Okay.
There is a list. I have a list up here. Okay, of the Anunnaki. Okay, it's the Anunnaki. Okay, and what that list is, let me see if I can get this to go up there. No, it won't go up there that high. Anyways, what it is, let me see if I can get this to come down. I'll just bring it down. Hold on.
Okay.
This is an overall study that I did. I have these poster boards that I write things on, so I don't forget because I'm old. I'm not sure how this is going to show up. Let me move this. But it's basically they've got the Anunnaki breakdown on it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Whose name is here, right?
Trump. I see that.
Here.
Enlil. Does that say Zeus? Yes. Seth.
Gilgamesh.
And David. And then Abel. And Moses and the Palladians.
Okay. That's Enlil is one of the sons, okay?
Okay.
This bloodline is also known as the, let me see here, the Norse bloodline, okay? From Anu, okay, the father of Enlil and Enki. Take a look at Enki.
Oh, Ra, Marduk, reptilian, Egyptian, possible lost tribe, mermaids, water spirits, dragon lineage, Cain. Oh my gosh.
And that's Enki. And that is the Poseidon Osiris bloodline. Okay, which is Luciferian.
Wow.
Okay, that's just some of the stuff that I've got written down. I mean, it's never ending, Jessica. It's one thing to talk about this stuff and to pretend that you research it, but I actually do research it. Okay.
You do.
And there is so much more than just that. I mean, my walls are covered with it. Okay. And I mean, I write down on anything. I write down on old envelopes that I have laying around, I mean, it's just, it is what it is, but when you get into something like this, and you're dealing with the fallen angels and the angelic realm, which includes the demonic, because the demons are also angelic. Okay. They have the power to shapeshift just like angels do. They have the power to deceive just like angels do. Okay. They have the power to be controlled by a superior force just like angels do. Okay. And when you think about it and the whole concept of everything, where we fall in, okay, we fall in as batteries, as cattle, as guinea pigs, as basically energy. That's all we are. Okay. And to the fallen down here that are in control of everything, they're connected in BlackRock. They're connected in all 11 of the mainstream corporations that control everything that we eat, drink, and do. Okay. Coca-Cola and Pepsi are two of the biggest ones. Okay. When you're talking about the food industry and the retail industry, you know, and then you put big pharma in with that, you know, there's another one. And I guarantee that when you take a look at those leaders of those corporations and their descendants, you're going to find a connection, okay, to the fallen, to the recycling of people. Because as far as I'm concerned, I kind of agree with Tyler Hansen. I believe that they are just recycled. They're remade up, like Uncle Pappy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Pappy's
yeah.
a good one, you know, and you know, so, and Robin Williams, you know, and Teddy Roosevelt, you know, he's another connection to Robin Williams. But yeah, these people, I believe that either they are somebody that is a descendant of a fallen that has certain abilities, or they are literally like a trickster type of a spirit where they could shapeshift. Okay. Remember, we call them demons. We call them reptilians. Okay. It's been proven. Okay. The millions of pages of files that just came out, folks. Think about that. Okay. Think about the millions of pages of files that came out. That's so creepy right there. That is so creepy.
What is that? Glenn Close and George Washington? I thought that was a funny one, actually. But I
look
think
that look at the nose. Look at the
they
nose.
do just alike, though, William. I'm sorry, they do.
They've got a honker, man, that's for sure.
Man, they look identical.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've seen better pictures of side by sides with them, but that's,
Yeah.
But still,
It's
some of these are
amazing.
just dead ringers, I think. But you know what? Here's my thing too, William, is like we're talking about the ancient AI. Now that I had that conversation on Monday with Arkeem about the history potentially being AI generated, now I'm wondering, are some of these just AI generated too?
I don't believe so. I don't
I
believe
don't
so
believe-
because
I don't believe so.
remember seeing, if they are AI generated, that means AI has been around a lot longer than humanity has, because we have been deceived from the beginning with technology. And
True.
you have to ask yourself, how can we go from 1776 and not having the brain capacity to have flight, to be able, you know, what, 2025 and 26 have the ability to map out a way to go to Mars?
Right.
I mean, you don't make that kind of quantum jump in such a short period of time. That's not how evolution works. Okay. So evolution has no play into what's going on here. Humanity is being manipulated from the beginning. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I like this one. I think Chuck Norris was Picasso here. I don't think that's Picasso.
I wouldn't want to mess with Chuck Norris, though.
Exactly. He's the biggest badass that ever lived, and he keeps on living. He takes a licking and keeps on ticking.
That's the best one right there with Keanu Reeves.
It is.
You know, in his house, you know what he wears in his house when he's home?
Probably a kimono or something, some kind of ninja outfit. I don't know. What does he wear?
He wears 100% cotton white clothing.
Oh.
Pure white.
Smart.
So, you know, and you know, you have to ask yourself, how does he know that? Because cotton, the reason we wear cotton and the reason we shouldn't wear all these poly blends and stuff is because it deafens our frequency. Okay. It takes away from our abilities to be energetic in different ways and to pick up on things. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's why in the old days, everybody wore cotton. Okay.
Literally. I still would try to wear linen. I try to wear cotton linen as much as possible. And you know what? I'm finding a good place to find that sometimes. I know this sounds a little wild to a lot of people, but I think it's wonderful. You can go to thrift stores and find beautiful cotton linen blouses, like vintage cotton linen shirts and stuff. And that's a good place to go sometimes.
And one thing also that Tyler Hansen pointed out too, I got to give him credit, is that he pointed out that a lot of the times they bring their spouses with them. And when
Yes, they
when they
do.
reincarnate, or and I do believe cloning is a thing,
Hmm.
but I think if anybody's doing cloning, it's because it's of a certain bloodline race of reptilians that are doing it. And you can find that in the files that were released recently. There's that's talked about that a lot in there. There's what they call an embarrassment ceremony. Okay,
A humiliation ritual.
exactly. And it's sorry, my feather is like smacking me in the head.
This
Um,
is Britney Spears and Marilyn Monroe, by the way. They're supposed to be ninth cousins, but what if they are clones or it's the same person? Just saying.
well, they even
Go
have
ahead,
the
William.
same tooth.
They do. They're dead ringers, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just, when we think about it, we need to really understand that we're dealing with something that has been here a very long time, and they've had a long time to deceive humanity. Okay. And they have this whole playbook written out well in advance. And I even believe that maybe even it's possible that you can tie the Tartarian and the mud floods into their whole scheme of things. You know, I started researching a while back about how there's a difference in things that tragedy things and historical things that happen every 70 to 100 years. Okay. And then I started going back and I started researching the mud floods and all that, and how the orphan trains and all that. You know, the reason we have wars, and it's all linked together. And if more people got into that research and figured out why, how things happen in a certain time frame, and can figure out that pattern of the time frame, you can find out that they're actually resetting society over and over again. Okay, because eventually humanity starts to wake up. Okay, and what's happening right now, humanity is starting to wake up and see this and calling out the evil for what it is. Okay,
Hmm.
literally the evil that is upon us is the fallen. Okay, is the Luciferian bloodline. Okay, and people are starting to wake up to that and starting to see things. When we were at the ER several weeks ago, I was sitting there after I prayed in the emergency room, and I looked down at my legs and stuff and my hands, and I literally saw angelic script on my legs and my hands, and that's where those symbols came from that I have written on that paper. That's some of them that I remember, and even to this day, I can look down at my hands and stuff, and I noticed that our skin even has a pattern on it.
Wow.
It has a very, very minute pattern on it that looks an awful lot like angelic script. So when they scribe things in heaven, when the angels that scribe things in heaven are scribing down our personal histories and stuff, I believe wholeheartedly, and this is just my belief. Okay, this doesn't mean it's factual. This is just the way I think, that I believe that those written angelic scribed um, words and stuff that the angels are scribing down um, transfer to our skin.
Hmm.
And literally, we are the literal paperwork or paper that they are scribing the angelic script on.
Wow.
Everything that happens to us happens for a reason. Every pain, every suffering, every anger, every hatred, every unconditional love that we have, every emotional reaction we have is to happen for a reason, for a purpose. What that purpose is what Christ was trying to teach us. And that is to not think with our logical brain. Okay. a lot of the times whenever, you know, I talk about, you know, my bloodline and stuff, I talk about how the left hand is connected to the heart, you know, and how we always raised our hand to say hi, you know, and that's because it connected to the heart, okay, which is unconditional love. That's our first brain. That's our brain that we're supposed to think with. That's we're not supposed to think all the time with this logical brain, because a lot of times, like I said, logic has nothing to do with this world. When we start questioning outside the box and start realizing that there's hidden patterns in everything, and that the angelic realm and the supernatural realm is real and influencing this world on a daily basis, whether you call it the darkness, whether you call it, you know, the light, it is literally a world based on duality. Okay. You can't have your good without your evil. You can't have your red without your black. You can't have your white without your black. You can't have your cold without your hot. You know, it's literally the same thing. Okay. We are given a choice at a certain point in time in our lives. And the closer we get to death, the more we realize that we have to make a choice. And that choice is, do you want to live forever in the kingdom of God? Okay. And know that the angels are real. Okay. Or we could live through hell the rest of our lives over and over again, possibly being reincarnated, possibly being cloned, you know, into a never ending mess that our lives are here on this world. Okay.
Mhm.
We feel pains in this world. We feel heartache in this world. We feel, you know, suffering in this world. We weren't designed for that. When the creator created the Garden of Eden, he created perfection. He didn't create the super Walmart. He
That's
didn't
right.
create big pharma. He gave us everything we needed right there in the Garden of Eden, and humanity blew it. Okay. They blew it. They refused to abide by the creator's will, and they turned it over to Lucifer. And ever since then, it's been a disaster. You know, there's no reason for us to have to go to a store to get anything when everything was grown right from the ground we walked on. Okay. You want the strongest vitamin C that you could ever want? Go grab a pine tree needles and a bunch of them, put them in a pot of boiling water and boil them into a tea and drink that. That's the strongest vitamin C you're ever going to have. Okay. When you talk about asthma and people that have breathing problems, and trust me, I know, because I deal with that every day. Um, that's why I drink hot instead of cold. Um, you know, you can go find yourself mint or spearmint or peppermint plants and make yourself a tea. You know, there's so many things that the creator put here for us specifically to use, and not have to go and pay people that control this world under false pretenses, um the and make them famous and rich from our suffering. Okay. We are not designed to be made to suffer. Okay. Suffering is part of it. Okay. We all suffer at one point in time in our lives, but we have to remember that the reason we are here is to not follow and be deceived by what others want us to see. The movies we watch, the food we eat, the stuff we drink, the clothes we wear, you know, the shoes we put on our feet, you know, the hair products you use in your hair. You don't need all that. There's no need for that. There was no need for that in the beginning. Why should we need it now? Over two, you know, what, 2000 and some years later? You
Mhm.
know, in those days, it was cotton clothing, it was robes, it was sandals, it was, you know,
Copper
you,
bracelets,
yeah, you were amazed if
copper
you,
jewelry, y'all.
yeah. And here's the
Yeah.
other thing too. we're meant to fast. It says it
That's
in the
right.
Bible. We're meant to
It-
fast up to 3 days.
But then the parasites can't get inside of us, William.
Exactly. Exactly. And
It'd be
the
host bodies in
parasite,
that case.
a parasite, when you talk about parasites, you're literally describing the demonic, because that's exactly what
Exactly.
they are. They are a parasitic type of an entity. Okay. They're the same beings that I talked about when I see the shadow realm. Okay. And these jellyfish looking things come down, and they put their tentacles on your shoulders, and you can feel that pain and pushing down on your shoulders. It's an energy vampire. That's literally what they are. Okay. And they base their energy and their feedings off of our fear, off of our aggression, off of our hatred. And that's why they make, that's why these controlling factions, whether you call them the fallen, whether you call them the cabal, the shadow government, I don't care what you call them, it's all the same to me. Reptilians. That's why we have war.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. War it stimulates their economies. It makes them financially rich. Rothschild family is a very well-known one that plays both sides of the war.
Oh yeah.
They played both sides of the Vatican too.
We're pulling the curtain back and seeing the the men and probably women too behind the curtains today.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it's just it's there's so much that's involved in this, and I'm just hitting the tip of the iceberg. But if anything, if anybody can learn anything from what I talk about, it's just don't believe everything your eyes see. Don't believe everything your ears hear. Do your own research. Okay. And I'm not saying go and Google something. I'm saying carry your ass down to the library, carry your ass out to the woods, take a walk and just talk to the spirits, talk to God, the creator, ask him to show you, to send you, the information when you sleep, because
Yeah.
that's literally when we get the downloads, is when we sleep,
Mm-hmm.
or when we're tired and we're at that very part of our lives that our subconscious takes over, and we're more susceptible to interpreting things. Okay. That's the whole purpose of it, and that's we're actually we're every day we're being poisoned. We're being
That's
poisoned by
true.
the foods we eat, by the air that we breathe, by the snow that falls down. We've all seen those videos of people saying the snow doesn't melt, or it burns black, or it
Right.
stinks like plastic. I actually went out the other night, a couple nights ago, and took my torch out and I tried to burn the snow, and it wouldn't even melt. It
Did
smelled
it
like
turn
plastic.
black?
No, it didn't even
Did
turn
it burn?
black. It
Really?
didn't burn. It kind of got like a little dip, but
Oh,
here I am holding the flame on it for a better part of 2 minutes, and it wouldn't melt. It smelled literally like plastic.
well, it's all part of this transhumanist agenda. And unfortunately, we have come to the end of the show today, William. And I want to thank you so much for being here today and imparting your wisdom on us.
Uh,
And I've
Wisdom.
learned a lot today.
I wouldn't call it wisdom, dear. I wouldn't call it
I
wisdom.
do
I would just call it questioning everything. You know.
questioning everything. Well, we question everything. That's for sure. And I we're going to continue to connect these dots and to pull the curtain back even more for as long as we can until my final day. I will be pulling curtains back and connecting dots. I can promise you that. But William, thank you so much for being here today. It means a lot to me that you spent your Monday with me, and if you'll tell the audience where they can find you on your channel and anything else you'd like to promote.
Well, I'm at Nighthawk High Strangeness YouTube channel. William Nighthawk on Facebook. We also have Nighthawk High Strangeness Facebook channel. You can go there and watch a lot of the episodes. We cover everything. I'm not an author. I don't promote things as far as that goes. I'm just somebody that has gone through hell and back, and wants people to realize that there's a lot more in this world and in this life than what we see and what we believe. And we need to really, really reach outside the box, and realize that we have been lied to our whole lives, literally. And to question everything, guys. That's just how I am. And I just hope that from what I went through, my over 60 plus years in this world, that others can learn from it, and be able to discern right from wrong and good from evil. So,
well, with your help and everything that you've talked about today, William, and you're definitely helping. You're helping the world right now, and our audience for sure. And so, like I said, thank you so much, William, for being here today.
Thank you for having
so much.
me. Take care, everybody.
I saw Eric in the chat earlier too. He said he was working, but he was listening. So hey, Eric. Eric's one of William's sidekicks, y'all, over on his channel. Today, before we go today, I want to thank Kent Baxter, Maureen, and Gus. And I also want to thank Andrew, Gnomes, and Trucking. Thank you for that super sticker, Andrew. It means the world to me, y'all. And so thank you so much again to William for being here today. And I hope you guys will come back and see me tomorrow night. Yes, I saw somebody in the chat asking, Misha Johnson will be here tomorrow night. I have her scheduled. Her and Jimmy Payne are coming back. We are going to be diving into the true story behind the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, aka the Texas Slaughter family. I don't know how I get into these ones, y'all. It's fun though. And it's going to be gory and gross and wild and wacky, but it does have connections to the Men in Black and presidential models, which I believe Misha Johnson might have been a presidential model. If y'all know what that is, we're going to find out tomorrow night. Okay. So please come back and see me again tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. And again, I want to thank you all so much for being here today. And in Geneva too. I saw that your super sticker. Thank you so much for your support as well. Y'all are so amazing. And man, that was a powerful show that we had today. And thank y'all so much for being here. Thank you to everybody for being here today. All right, y'all. Well, please stay safe out there. And I know it's a lot to process. We're all trying to process whatever's going on, and don't let it consume you, y'all. Okay, if you know what I mean. Like, don't let all this disclosure dump consume your life right now. Take a break from it when you need to. And like I said, come back and see me tomorrow night. We're going to talk about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If nothing else, it's going to be entertaining. I promise you that. All right. So I'll see you guys back here tomorrow night. Y'all have a wonderful day, and don't live in fear, live in awareness. All right. Bye, y'all.